of all of us sitting here to all of you sitting in the audience. A few housekeeping rules before we begin. There is no firewall planned, so if one sounds, it is the real one. Either go down the stairs that are behind you out of the door, or follow one of us into the mayor's parlour and down the emergency stairs which are outside. Could I ask that your mobile phones are switched off or to silent, and could I remind members and officers that phones shouldn't be near your microphones, please. The washrooms are outside to the left of the big staircase. All of our meetings are audio recorded. I see Andrew, you are here, welcome. You're going to video this, I'm assuming. Does anyone not want to be videoed by Mr. Hill? Because you need to get out of his line of sight. Okay. This meeting is held in public to promote open local government. But please note that this is not a public participation meeting. You will be invited to speak, those who are on our speakers list, and only those who have been invited to speak by the clerk may speak. All right, if I can now go to the introductions, starting from my far left. Can you please introduce yourself?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ian Walters. I represent Bray.
Hello, my name is Lee Allen. I'm the legal advisor to the panel.
My name is Thomas Stimson. I'm the chair of the panel.
Sorry, Chairman, I was about to knock my water over. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jennifer Jackson, head of planning for the Royal Borough.
Tony Franklin, area manager for the Maidenhead team.
Councillor Johnson, full voting member of the panel.
Councillor Reynolds, voting member of the panel. Councillor Hazelland, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Taylor, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Baldwin, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Boner, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Jeff Hill, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Chris Rossi, voting member of the panel.
Councillor Brown, voting member of the panel.
Shilpa Malika, clerk of the panel. Thank you, everybody. Now, this evening we have 6 items, and we have speakers for 4 of these. What I'd like to propose is that we choose the items where we have speakers first, so that those people might be able to go home afterwards. We're going to go for item number 6 first, because we have the most speakers speaking on that. And then we will go for item number 3, second. I'm just changing this at will, because it is my right. And then we will go for item number 1, because it has a speaker, and then item number 4. And then the last 2 that don't have speakers will follow. Is that all right, children? Thank you. Children, do we have any apologies, please?
No apologies for panel tonight.
Thank you. Are there any declarations of interest from the members? Councillor Taylor.
Thank you, Chair. I have a personal interest in the 2 carbon applications to work on the state very close to sites. But I'll come to the panel.
Thank you. Have the members all had sight of... Are you going to declare an interest, Councillor Banner?
No, I'm just a board member for the area board report.
Thank you.
On items number 2 and number 5, that's the Moor Farm, Ascot Hollywood. I'm a member of the Bray Parish Council, and I've taken no part in any discussions on either of those items at the Parish Council, and I come to this meeting with an open mind.
Thank you, Councillor Waters. All right, on to minutes. Have the members had sight of the minutes? And do you agree that they are accurate?
Agree.
Thank you. Could we, should we like a show of hands? All right. Thank you. All right. So let's move on to the first of the applications. As I said, we're going to take the Crooked Billet in Westboro Road, Maidenhead first. So the way that it works is that we have got two objectors who are going to speak to it, and they will speak to it first. You each gentleman will have, you will have 3 minutes each. Then we've got an applicant who will speak to it, and then you will have another member.
Chairman, it's a total of 3 minutes.
Oh. Mr. Hill, you have 1.5 minutes, and then you need to hand over to Mr. Gurvich.
He's going to do one, I'm going to do two, if that's okay.
All right, yes, that's fine. But Shilpa is very fierce on her club, so she will stop you. All right, thank you. Firstly, we'll have the presentation so we know what we're talking about. Tony.
Thank you, Chair. This application is subject to a panel update, drawing members' attention to the receipt of further letters of objection, raising concerns about the scheme, failing to meet policy CF1 of the local plan, the loss of trees on the eastern boundary, and clarification on the county community housing land supply. The site comprises a public house, established lawful use, and its associated car park in the area. The site is situated along the eastern side of Westboro Road in Maidenhead. It is situated in a predominantly residential area. All Saints Junior School, 2 public houses, the North Star and the Pond House, and the convenience store all lie within relative proximity of the site. The buildings in the locality are predominantly 2 stories and domestic in scale. The previous application for 7 4-bedroom dwellings was refused to have permission on the grounds of the loss of the community facility, the cramped overdevelopment of the site, and on transport grounds. This scheme is currently fulfilled. The current application is for 6 3-bedroom dwellings. Based on the additional marketing of the premises that has been undertaken, it is considered that it has been demonstrated that the loss of the public house as a community facility is justified. The scheme has sufficient car parking and according to the council's parking standards, and there is no objection to the scheme on transport grounds. Whilst officers have some concerns with regard to the appearance of rear elevation of dwellings, this harm is not considered to significantly and demonstrably outweigh the benefits of the scheme in light of the engagement of the tilted lands.
Thank you, Tony. All right, so the 2 objectors. Okay, Adam, thank you. You may, when you start, she'll start the clock.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I acknowledge I'm not a subject matter expert, but I do believe that paragraph 38 of the relevant planning practice guidance is quite clear. In principle, an authority will need to be able to demonstrate a 5-year land supply at any point to deal with applications and appeals, unless it is choosing to confirm its 5-year land supply, in which case it needs to demonstrate it only once per year. Thus, in demonstrating whether it has a 5-year housing land supply, the LPA, acting through this panel, is entitled to rely upon the results of the annual assessment performed in December 2018 in order to confirm the test is met. This is a logical interpretation of the guidance, as whereas local housing need is dynamic and it would clearly be unfair not to give the LPA time to respond to these movements through revision of the land supply position statement, which is only feasible on an annual basis. Indeed, the number of such applications being considered this evening do not appear in the statement, including this one. Given this choice, why would this authority take the option that leads to loss of control over its own planning policies? I urge the panel to choose to confirm the 5-year housing land supply as demonstrated in December 2018, apply its own adopted planning policies and refuse permission. Thank you.
Thank you. The officers make it clear that this will be harmful to my road, my neighbours and the character of the area. It sets a new precedent on the height and massing of the houses in Westford Road, and future developers will argue that the 6 harmfully ugly high-house semis will now represent the real height and the real character of the area. Section 130 of the NPPF says permission should be refused for development of poor design that fails to improve the character and quality of the area. CF1, the developer has to prove that it's no longer needed as a community facility. But in their viability report, paragraph 3.5, they say the Cookie Billet was not a pub since 2009. You all know that's nonsense, you just heard that it was a pub. Nonetheless, this report, after being told that in December, was resubmitted for you tonight, and the position is that they're still saying the pub was not a pub. The tendency of Will for Boucher was ended against their will. It was running as a pub quite happily. So you cannot prove it's unviable as a pub if you choose to evict the people running it. He still claims in this report that the Crown is open when it isn't. It was advertised one time in the Catering magazine using an ugly photo with hoardings around it under the heading of restaurants available. Doesn't mention pubs, so it hasn't been marketed as a pub. Trees. In December, the developer wanted to keep the trees, but now the tree protection plan will destroy 90% of the trees on this historic site. The tree officer concluded that the horticultural report is missing key information. The trees are described both as low quality in paragraph 4.3 and simultaneously good quality in 4.2. These trees protect us from dust and pollution. My son has asthma. I think these are providing a very valuable part of our climate change strategy, and I urge you to reject this plan. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. All right, you may sit down, thank you. Mr. Henley, you have 3 minutes, sir.
Chair, members, good evening. I'm Richard Henley, a Chartered Town Planner and the agent for the applicant, Clearview Residential. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. The application comes before you following extensive and collaborative pre-application consultation with your officers, following the refusal of a similar application in December last year. In support of the officers' recommendation to grant planning permission, and in response to the objectors' comments, I ask the panel to note the following key points in coming to a decision. Firstly, in terms of the loss of the public house, the officers' report sets out in detail the extensive 16-month marketing exercise by leading commercial leisure agents for Rex. Over the past 6 months since the refusal, the property has been remarketed, including trade press adverts, and at the request of the planning officer, a for sale board on the site. This exercise has been unable to secure a genuine purchaser for the building's future as a public house. Compounded by the significant investment that would be required to bring the property up to trading standards, and several competing pubs and restaurants, the extensive marketing exercise, in compliance with policy CF1, has now robustly demonstrated that there is no demand and an alternative use should now be sought. Secondly, the number of units has been reduced by 1 to 6 semi-detached houses and 3 bedrooms, which all comply with their national space standards. In terms of highways and parking, the Council's highway officer raises no objection to the scheme. Car parking complies with adopted standards. In a linear arrangement with frontage planting, removing the tandem parking layout of the refuse scheme, which will have an open and enhanced appearance to the street scheme. With no proven impact on highway safety, planning permission should be approved in accordance with paragraph 109 of the NPPF. Fourthly, on design, the applicant has refined the appearance and scale of the scheme, combining a reduction in height of approximately 1.5 metres lower than the ridge of the existing pub, and reducing the schemes to 3 pairs of semis with gaps in between, now appropriately reflects the character and scale and appearance of properties in Westwell Road. With matching eave levels, bay windows and gable roofs, the simplified design will be complementary to neighbouring properties. The revised layout proposes enlarged gardens with the refuse scheme and increases separation to over 26 metres to the rear flank wall of number 44 Rutland Place. Should members want to retain the trees on the rear boundary, I confirm that the applicant is willing to do so through the landscape condition number 3. The scheme will have no adverse impact on the living conditions of neighbouring properties. The revised application accords with the design principles of adopted policy TG1 and draft borough-wide design guide. As such, in accordance with paragraph 130 of the NPPF, design cannot be used as a valid reason to object to the development. So to conclude, based upon the revised design, extensive marketing and the planning policy merits of the scheme, there is no defensible reason to refuse planning permission. The Council's lack of a 5-year housing land supply engages the tilted balance and a presumption in favour of sustainable development. I therefore urge you to support your officer's objective and professional assessment and recommendation to grant permission for 6 family-sized dwellings on a windfall brownfield urban site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Carroll. You have 3 minutes.
very much, Chair. I called this application in following quite a range of discussions and consultations with local residents, probably about 50 in total in the Westborough Road area, who are strongly opposed to this application for 3 key reasons, which we'll come on to. I think it's worth just actually clarifying, although I heard that there was apparently consultation with officers, there wasn't any consultation with myself, Councillor Bangor, or indeed any of the residents I've just mentioned, which I do find disappointing. On the point that was made earlier by my 2 fellow residents in Boyne Hill, it is beyond doubt this was a pub. I went in it several times when it was open. It had a pool table, a darts board, it was serving various alcoholic beverages. I know the English language is flexible, but to refer to it as a restaurant is frankly preposterous. In terms of the design itself, when you actually look at it and compare it to the previous application, which was rejected, it's still very much an overdevelopment on a cramped site. And this does bring into play the very important issue relating to parking. Now, parking in Westborough Road is a big problem. Indeed, myself and Councillor Bangor have been contacted several times the last couple of months around the parking issue itself. This particular site is close to a local school, which also creates challenges during school drop-offs and in the morning and in the afternoons. And I think when you again look at the application that's come in, there is not an adequate provision for parking, which I think would create a significant problem in this street and lead to the significant disadvantage of the residents I'm representing this evening. So for these reasons, I urge the panel to reject this application, and I thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Carroll. Councillor Bangor, would you like to open the discussion on the amendments?
Thank you, Chair. As my colleague has said, I echo his sentiments. This is a complete overdevelopment in the area. I think it's exactly the same as it came before, very little difference. It's not in line with any of the other houses in the area. The main problem we have is the parking there. Parking's a massive issue there. There's a school nearby. There's so many things wrong with this application. I'll go as far to say, it's been advertised in policy CF1. The Borough Council not permitted loss of existing green facilities and buildings. It wasn't advertised food for us in that way. It was advertised as a restaurant. I don't think the developer has gone out of his way to advertise it well enough. I mean, pubs boarded up, so obviously, if you're taking pictures of a boarded up pub, it's not going to sell that well, if they want to sell it. So, I don't think it's in line with a lot of the houses on that road. It's overlooking, the property itself is overlooking Rutland Place. I think there's a lot of privacy issues there. And I think there's a lot of impact on the trees and the wildlife in the area as well. And a lot of residents are against the application in its current form. I'm not against planning or development in the area, but I think it's overdevelopment. That's my reasons for coming against this application. And I would like to propose a motion against granting approval of this application for the 6 units in its current state. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Bangor. Councillor Hazler.
I do tend to agree with Councillor Carroll and Councillor Bangor with regards to overdevelopment of the site. Reduction in one property doesn't seem to be a sufficient reduction. Along there, it just seems to be just too many properties around into one area. I'm not against the development of the site. Just for clarity, it was a pub because I've been there myself and I've also dined in there. So I would like to second Councillor Bangor's motion on refusal of the plan application based on overdevelopment of the site.
All right. Gentlemen, what are your reasons for your motion against approval? Because you do need to have substantive. You need reasons.
It was overdevelopment that I picked up from Councillor Randall, that I was seconded.
Councillor Hill. Yes, please do.
I can speak. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. I'm in favour of the developments. As a completely different view to my fellow councillors here. My view is that this has been marketed well. It's one of those places that once it comes on the market, everybody knows about it, and it's very difficult to disguise something like that. So I would suspect anybody who wants a pub or a restaurant or that sort of building would have found out about it very, very quickly. And the community at large, if they wanted to convert this building into a community asset, have certainly had the opportunity. I know that's very hard on the community. However, this has been going some time now. This is not a fresh and new application. In terms of the site itself, I feel that if we refuse it, then this building is likely to fall into a state of disrepair and become pretty ugly, as we've seen around the borough with other buildings. I have looked at the site. I haven't visited, walked onto the site, but I've had a good walk around it, so I know where it is and what it looks like. My opinion is that the houses are of a sympathetic design. I take the officer's report, the officer's point in the in the reports that it could be better. Things can always be better, so I think there was some improvement there. And I do not agree that the site is overcrowded. I think it's quite a substantial site, and the number of properties has gone from 7 to 6, and there's a substantial decrease in the number of bedrooms. We did have 7 times 4 bedrooms, we now have 6 times 3. But basically the footprint is very similar and the height is very similar, so the properties are more spacious inside, which means there'll be better places to live in, so we have a better design, and the developer or representative will be said in line with development policies. I do have a concern about the trees. I want to keep the trees. Everybody knows how keen I am on trees and the climate. So I'm going to propose a council motion to my fellow council next to me that we accept the officer's recommendation. And the planning officer will have to give me the words because I don't know how to say it, but apparently it's called an informative, so we can't condition keeping the trees because of the recommendation from the tree officer. But we would have an informative to ask the developers to do landscaping and to keep the trees. And the developer's agent has already said that the developer is willing to keep the trees. So I'm proposing that motion, Madam Chairman.
Thank you, Councillor Hill. I'd like to make a comment as well, please, if I may. We are quite vulnerable at the moment because we don't have a borough local plan, and we are having and we are having to apply that sort of balance quite often, and we know that on a regular basis, if we do not approve certain developments, they go to appeal and they are likely to be approved. So with this in mind, something like this, which is a windfall, is quite often more likely to win at appeal, and this is my anxiety, and I just wanted to make that point. Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Chair. Just some observations. I've heard genuinely conflicting reports as to the, I should phrase it, the robustness of the marketing exercise that sort of provides the baseline evidence base for change of use. So really more a question back to officers. Do we genuinely believe it's towards a robust and effective parking exercise, or is it simply a case of going through the motions by a would-be applicant that, let's be honest, didn't really want any other outcome other than residential? There is a way, of course, that you can do an effective parking exercise. You can do a marketing exercise, and you can do something that looks to be a marketing exercise, but really isn't. I just want officers' opinion as to the robustness of that undertaking. Thank you.
Jenny?
Chair, through you, well, I think the answer's in the report. The report makes it clear that officers do accept that that exercise is sufficient to establish that the public is not a going concern as a community use. And I would reflect on what Councillor Hill said in that it has been plainly obvious that it's been available and there's no one stepped forward and taken it on. So, yes, it's the answer to the question. Officers are satisfied. It was a robust exercise.
I don't want to labour the point, but there's clearly genuine concerns amongst elected members, not on the panel and residents, that this hasn't been the case, particularly the issue about home versus restaurant, which would strike me as being quite fundamental in terms of the marketing exercise. Any further comments on those?
Through you, Chair. I don't think it really matters whether we're a pub or a restaurant. Indeed, the two are largely interchangeable these days. And it's clear that it's a pub from its appearance from the outside. If there was anyone available who felt that they wanted to take that on as a pub, they would have been aware that that was perfectly within their gift to do so. So, to my mind, there is a massive difference between the two.
Okay, first Councillor Bangura and then Councillor Baldwin.
Thank you, Chair. We've had a very similar situation just down the road with the North Star. That was properly marketed and successfully we found a fire pub. So the reasons that the officer has given I don't think is valid for the applicant for that matter. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Baldwin.
Thank you, Chair. If I could bring panel members' attention to 9.35. I'm back on bats. In the original report recommending that the application be refused, it made mention in 9.34, if you have the December report with you, regarding safeguarding of bats, in what they consider to be the unlikely event that they are present. It mentioned that the roof should be dismantled carefully, and should any recent evidence of bats be found, all work should cease immediately, and Natural England would need to be contacted. In the report before us today,
Microphone, please. Thank you.
I'm trying to keep this one away from the device as possible. In 9.35, that's changed slightly in wording, and the ecologist makes it clear that it cannot be subject to a condition, and it seems to place the onus on the developer to do an assessment, a roost assessment. And I just wanted to know from the officers,